the 1700 years after Christ, look at the great advancements that occurred in those 1776 years. Oh yeah, there were some. But life expectancy was roughly the same as what it is in 1776 as what it was in 77 BC. Excuse me, AD. The world changed some. Yeah, we had the printing press and a few other. But think of the huge advancement of mankind. The wealthiest person in America, not 200 years ago, 70 years ago, would be considered poor by the standard of which they would live compared to the person who would be considered poor in America today. None of them had cell phones. What's the penetration of cell phones in America today? 80, 90%? The technology, the quality of life that America has sparked changed the world. Why? Because we believed in you. We allowed you to succeed and we didn't punish you for doing so. We didn't spread the wealth around. We allowed you to fail. Why? Because failure is a necessary part of success. How many of you in your lives, as short as some of them may be, didn't learn more from the things that you failed at than the things you succeeded at? It's just the story of America. We allow success and we allow failure. Because we understand that is the human condition. And that, by allowing that, society is always on an upward arc. We become that shining city on the hill. Life expectancy in the last 220 years has now doubled. Technology has exploded. Quality of life like we've never could possibly imagine, and it's continuing. You can say, well, sort of, it was lined up at the time. America just happened to occur at a time when technology was going to advance anyway, and this was going to happen anyway. Oh, really? Let's look at the Muslim world over the past 225 years, and let's see the dramatic technological advances where the power did not belong to the individual. Don't kid yourself with the lie. America is exceptional. And Americans are concerned that there are a group of people in Washington who don't believe that anymore. They believe that they are the exceptional ones, and that they are the smart people. They are the new kings who should have the authority and give rights to you. That they should tell you that you have the right to health care, and by the way, tell you that you have the right and duty to provide it to him, whether you make money at it or not. This is what Europe has gone back to. Europe feels comfortable. It's part of their heritage to be ruled. And so they are again. Not by kings. Oh, they threw them off. Now it's just by governments who create welfare states that provide mediocrity, don't allow great success or great failure. They simply provide. And when that pacifier is taken from the mouth, you see riots in the streets because the government isn't providing what they were expecting them to provide. This is the difference between America and the people across the pond. This is why we say Americans are exceptional. I think the defining moment in President Obama's presidency, and the defining moment in a lot of Americans' minds as they went to the polls, when he was asked the question, do you believe in American exceptionalism? And he said, yes, just like the British believe in British exceptionalism and the Greeks believe in British exceptionalism. Sort of like you've been told in school, you know, we're all above average. Well, if everybody's above average, nobody's above average. And nobody's exceptional. You see, I believe we are. I believe we're different. I believe we have something great to share with the world. In fact, we are sharing it right now. And it's something to work for and defend. And I traveled around the country in the last 18 months campaigning for folks, helping out the party. And I said during that time that this was the most important election in my lifetime. And I believe it. And something very important happened. We were Republicans, conservatives, were able to get one half of one of the three branches of government, the House of Representatives. And in so doing, we are now going to be in a position to stop more of the encroachment of government. more of the sovereign trying to rule the people. That's a good thing. But it's not going to undo the damage that was done over the past 2 years and frankly over the past 30 or 40 years of taking freedom away from the people and giving it to the folks who think they're smarter than you are, who think they're kings, and that they have the right to tell you what's best for you. That's what this Tea Party movement is all about. It's Tea Party because it's back to first principles. First principles of American democracy. First principles that our founders laid out in the first document of American democracy, the Declaration of Independence. This is a movement that is not going to go away. This is a movement about restoring what made us the greatest country in the history of the world and will continue if we have the courage to proceed. I'll end by making maybe an obvious comment. Our founders wrote about this. They understood that the easy part about freedom, was establishing freedom, was writing in a document. They had won the war, or well, they had declared war, and they wrote it in the Declaration of Independence, and then they institutionalized it in the Constitution. They recognized the freedoms in the Bill of Rights, those inalienable rights. They recognized those in the Constitution. And they wrote that that was the easy part. They knew that, to recognize the freedoms that we had. And what they said was that the hard part was not to establish, but to maintain. It is always the hard part for every civilization, to maintain the spark, the greatness, the energy that created something exceptional. That is the challenge of our generation, whether we're going to have that energy, the courage, the willingness to accept failure, to accept inequality, but to demand opportunity for all. I'll be happy to stop and take your questions.